A lot of conversations about men's leadership. We have a whole lot of conversations about men's leadership. And hey, bruh, I don't make no excuses. I'll be the first one to say, like, black men especially, we just haven't had a lot of healthy examples. So I get it. But it's not just our side of the transaction that's messed up. Woo! Like, and I'm not saying that to just start shooting at women. I'm saying that to say until we have a holistic conversation about the relationship between leader and follower and the relationship that we've had with leadership, then we don't get anywhere. We don't. We just make it about men again and again and again. And it's like, all right, cool. If we bad leaders, bet, let's roll with that. Let's live inside that narrative. How many bad leaders before you become a terrible decision maker?
Okay.
How many wrong paths do get to take you down before it's you?
Right.
Before you realize that, hey, maybe I should only travel on paved roads.
Come on.
Right? Maybe I should check to see if he got a license before I jump in the car with him. Right. Maybe I should see if he got motion in his own life before I start to invest anything. Like, at what point do we talk about that?
Let's go ahead and dive into it, man. I like how you put onus on both sides. I'm gonna start with you first, Biz. How do you feel about what he was saying? Let's talk about leadership.
I mean, everything he said was 100. I think often we get caught up in the narrative that we think that everybody, that every man is a leader, just being a buck. You know, all men are leaders, and be it because they had a terrible examples, in which I don't think that's a reasonable excuse, because we still have the ability to look at other successful leaders, even if it's outside of our race, outside of our families, YouTube, the internet. We're able to see, we're exposed to so many other leaders that are successful. So I personally don't think that that's a valid excuse. At the same time, I always say it's difficult to lead somebody that don't want to follow you. So just as he stated, it's a joint thing that both people have to be acceptable to, and until that happens, we'll always have that same, finger pointing thing to where it'll really get us nowhere.
All right, Jay, what are your thoughts about it, man?
I think people need to evaluate what stage of their life they're in. Whether you want to be a part of the building process, whether you want somebody to already come figured out. And, a lot of times us men need to be honest about what we want to do in life or where our path is headed. You know what I mean? And there may be some cases where you may just be embarrassed to say, yo, I haven't figured it out yet. Like, I'm still feeling stuff out. And then the woman has the opportunity on if she wants to take that voyage with you, or if she wants to find something that's a little more defined, you know what I mean? A little more concrete. But, that goes to the stages of your life, the seasons of your life that you're in, because we don't have it all figured out. You know what I mean? Like, when they speak of men maturing, a lot of us, man, we go through our 20s, our 30s, and just be like, yo, what am I here for, dog? Like, this failed, that failed, that failed. You trying, stuff is failing, and it don't really click till late. And that's another thing. Some people right out the gate, 21, got it figured out, know what they want to do. Not everybody has that ability. So for a lot of us, you find it out later in life, and it's just being honest about it. The woman has to decide if she wants to deal with that. And if she doesn't need to waste time. You know what I mean?
I had a question for you, Jay. So many men struggle to balance leadership with healthy relationships. How can men be strong leaders in their careers while also leading their families and loved ones? and respect.
I think that comes with the person that you're choosing to take that, take that path with you. Because if you don't have the right person, they're not going to be understanding to, there is a means to an end. Like this hard work or, whether you hustling, it's not going to be this way all the time. You know what I mean? So some people have to have the patience to be able to acknowledge that we're gonna make some sacrifices now so that, we can enjoy a lot more freedom later. Everybody, we in a microwave society, as they always say, and people want it now. I want my gratification now. I want my happiness now. I want my beaches now. I want my trips now. I want, you know what I mean? Not really accounting for later, because some people, and that goes to the person you picking. Is it a person who feels like live every day like it's your last, or is it a person that plans to be here at 50 or 45, or, you know what I mean? So, I mean, I think that comes to your partnership and them being understanding of that this is not going to be this way forever. There's a plan in place.
I'm gonna go to you, Ruth. What was your thoughts about that mass leadership?
Well, I do. I appreciate the fact that a man can say, we don't have it all figured out. That's something I can respect. I don't think we have it figured out either. So I can trust the leader that said they don't have it figured out, versus you find out the hard way that they're telling you to go some way and really they don't know what they're doing. And people can tell when things are out of order or they don't get it the way they're supposed to. And so the honesty is great. And a lot of times we think leadership is bossing people around, but really it is getting buy-in. It's figuring out where you stand. Like when you walk into a new situation and you figure out, you got to see what's going on first before you start barking at people. You got to see who's really running the show. I just had to experience this. I figured out who's running the show. My approach and versus another woman's approach was totally different. I sat back, I saw who was really doing things. I ran some ideas by them. We worked together and we changed the direction, momentum of the situation, versus another lady came in, try to act like she run things. And I know you since you was a baby and now I'm telling you what to do. And she got shut down quickly. So women are in leadership positions. So let's not act like we have no clue or no idea. I brought up a book like, hey, what if we read this book together and on another show and it was like shut down because everybody knew what to do. It was leadership is not telling you how to be a man. It's like there's principles in the universe, and that's all I was trying to say. That there are principles that people went and researched. Like just like there's wealth principles, you guys believe there's wealth principles, right? So there's things that's going to happen. Like if you give, you shall receive, things like that. That's a part of leadership too. They have leadership principles, and people did the research for it to figure out what really works every single time. So if that's in a book, like we should be able to open it up, study it together, read together, learn. Nobody's beating nobody over the head about it, but it's just like, hey, like even little things I learned from the book that I don't remember everything, but I was just like, well, if I want them to do something, I got to be doing it with them. It's not go do it, let's do it. Things like that. If you learn little things like that, if your woman just happen to have to do that for work, I think that it's okay for her to be like, hey, I learned this. This is what I learned. This is what I bring. I know in every relationship I'm always reading and growing. So I bring it to them and they see the value in it and they grow. And I help them when they get their promotions and stuff like that. But if we all sitting there like, you're a woman, you don't know nothing about leadership or you don't know nothing about it. I was watching what show was I watching? Bridgerton. And the men, like back in the days, it's so funny because it sounds like the same thing is going on. Like the women are like, we want our rights to breathe and to decide for ourselves. I'm like, well, that sounds like the Thursday show. Like it sounds like we say the same thing hundreds of years later. But what happened was something was going awry. And the man, the young guy, he thought he could handle it. I'm a man. I'm gonna tell you what to do. Even tell his mom what to do. And then he didn't get good results. So the mom was like, how are we going to handle it? We're just women. She's like, we're going to talk. So they start gossiping and getting things done, and they got it done another way. So women have power just in different ways. How powerful is it when we both come together and use our different strengths together?